welcome to all of our listeners. I'm Lou.
And I am Gil.
Stop it. And this is Good Talk.
Yeah, I'm sick.
We're changing this up a little bit, which feels weird.
It does.
Not our normal intro.
That is true. That is true. And it's only because
It's been a shitty week. No, that's why.
Yeah, I am sick, actually. Started Friday. And,
really started Thursday night.
Well, yeah, I started feeling a little wishy-washy. And Friday, that's when I felt it in my throat and started feeling a little bit weird. And my body felt like it was breaking down. And I was concerned, so I left school early. Went to the doc to get a test done, get a COVID test done.
Which
wasn't
you're
bad,
still
actually.
waiting for the results.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the results, man. So I'm hoping. So basically, I am quarantined. I am quarantining myself. Well, actually, we're quarantining
I was gonna
ourselves.
say with me.
Yeah.
You have no choice.
So, yeah, I didn't think I would be able to do this podcast, this live podcast, if anything. But I figured, you know what? Let's go with something light. And even though it's light,
how is this? This is not light.
This isn't light.
Somebody needs to shut their thing off.
That's
you.
you. That is you.
No, I shut mine off. I'm on silent.
Oh man. So yeah, I guess I have to do this.
You guess?
I guess.
Okay, so you came up with a topic about friendly debates.
Friendly debate. Why is that?
Why is that, pray tell?
Because of the last debates that we saw, right?
Well,
Trump,
this last debate.
Trump and Biden and Pence and Harris, right? Which I thought was just horrible. It was horrific.
Well, Trump and Biden's was horrible.
Well, I mean, I guess yeah.
More horrible than Harris and Pence. At least that's my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely.
At least they were a little more respectful with each other, and they let each other talk.
We didn't get a chance to really go over the debate for Trump and Pence, right? I think during that last podcast, during that last episode, we kind of talked about everything else, and I went on my rage, and like just totally bypassed it, and.
Because there wasn't much to talk about.
I mean, the reality is, it was horrible. It was a horrible debate. If you saw it, you would say the same thing. A lot of people said pretty much the same thing, that they were just horrible. They would talk over each other. And the reality is, man, if I'm having a conversation with you and you continue to try and talk over me while I am expressing myself and the views that I have and so on and so forth, and you just keep talking over me, we're about to fight.
Okay, so wait, let's backtrack a little bit. So, in opening up this discussion, the first thing I did was I searched what's a debate.
What's a debate? All
because
right.
I think some people forgot what a debate is in that first debate. So, a debate, the actual definition is
Are we getting definitions here?
Yes, man.
Okay.
A formal discussion on a particular topic in a public meeting or legislative assembly in which opposing arguments are put forward.
Okay.
And like you said, that was lacking on the first one because it's like, one particular person wouldn't let the other person talk when it was their turn.
Right.
And then when it was when it was his turn, he wasn't being very coherent either. Anyway.
Cooperative, yeah.
So that was actually a very bad debate because it really didn't get much accomplished.
Well, whose fault was that, though? I mean, how would you see it? Would you see it as both of them were just rude to each other? Or would you see it as,
no.
Trump was the one who...
He initiated
pretty much
the rudeness.
Right.
And I don't blame Biden for trying to...
For calling him a clown?
Well...
He's such a clown, man.
But I think that doesn't... the name calling really doesn't really prove anything.
But it wasn't even that bad, to be honest with you.
I mean, that's like kindergarten name calling, but
whatever. It wasn't even that bad.
But I'm saying,
if it were a real debate...
You're talking over me.
If it were a real debate...
It's my time.
Oh, come on, Harris. Jesus.
This is my time now.
I am talking.
I am talking.
I am talking.
Thank you. So, That's all we should do for Halloween.
What's
Just
up?
keep talking over each other and saying thank you.
Finish up, woman.
Anyway, you made me lose my thought.
Oh, well, my turn. It wasn't
go
even
ahead.
that bad. It wasn't that bad, man. For what he did, for Biden calling him a clown, wasn't that bad, considering. Like, if it were regular folk, right, they would be cursing at each other.
Well, yeah, I think he's trying to keep it civilized.
Like, they would literally be screaming and cursing at each other.
Hence
and,
why the PG-13 name calling.
Oh, man, if I could just bring it up. I had this fight. It was so funny, man. It's like in another country, I think it was Russia, and they were having this discussion, this debate, and one of them just got up and threw a cup at him, and then they both got up and they were, throwing with the hands. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow. Imagine if that were here.
It would be like UFC.
Like,
we should have a UFC type of debate.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, for Biden calling Trump a clown during those moments, it's like, dude, he was a clown. He was an asshole. Like that's what I would expect. I would expect someone to say, stop being an asshole. Let me finish. And I would call him out. I would curse at him or something like that. But again, that's just people would say, well, it's just because you don't have any what's that word I'm looking for? Not patience. You just can't handle it. You know what I mean? You crack under pressure or whatever the case may be.
You mean for the person who's retaliating?
No, for the person who is like, raising their voice.
Oh.
Like if you were to say something and then I start getting pissed off and I lose my patience and then I start yelling at you or whatever, then it just means that I forgot the word, to be honest with you. I can't even think straight.
That's too many cough drops.
For real. Yeah, it is.
But the thing that the thing that I remember about when Hillary was running against him, people criticized her because she didn't, at least this is my recollection, so if I'm wrong, someone can try to correct me. But I remember people saying that she wasn't standing up for herself enough. And I think what Biden was trying to do, ghost. What he was trying to do was be a little bit more assertive without going over the line and just arguing with each other, yelling at each other. So I think he was trying to be a little more assertive, but I still, it was just watching like two, grown people bicker. That's what I thought. It wasn't even fighting. I would say bicker.
So how would you go about doing that then? Would you allow someone to just continue talking over you, or would you at some point say, shut the fuck up, man? Like, just be quiet. You know what I mean? I
would have probably, to be honest with you, and because that was a live thing, that's probably why they couldn't like just stop it and put it to commercial or something. Right. But I probably would have sent to, because Chris Wallace was supposed to be the moderator. Yeah. And I would have kept looking at him like, are you going to do something about this? Or, so and so in the booth, are you going to do something about this? Because, this is not getting anywhere.
Well, they
because obviously talking to Trump is not going to work.
He tried, right? Wallace, continued to tell Trump like, hey, hold on a second. Hey, can you, stop or, be quiet.
Well, give him a
you know what I mean. Like he tried, but of course Trump continued to go on his
rants.
Yeah. And do you think that a person who is doing that basically has no argument?
Well, it was funny because one of the commentators after the fact said that they thought he was doing this to throw off Biden. Like if he continued to interrupt him mid-thought, he was basically going to throw him off of what he was thinking and what he was going to say.
Actually,
sometimes he did, but then sometimes he did get his points across. Again, I don't think that there was a lot of substantial conversation about policies and what people would do. I don't think there was enough of it, but he did, come off with his points that a few points that he was trying to make. So while he was trying to distract him, I don't think it worked as well as he thought it was going to work.
I think him, continuously talking over Biden kind of screwed him over, a little bit. I do believe that Trump could have, spoken about positive things, but it was very hard for him to defend a lot of the things that has happened on his watch. So therefore, of course, you have to talk over someone. And of course, again, he brought up stuff that had nothing to do with whatever was happening to us, right? Case in point, bringing up his son, right?
Oh, kept bringing up Biden's son, yeah?
Yeah. Was it Hunter?
Yeah.
Hunter Biden? Right, he kept bringing him up because of the whole $3 million or whatever from China or something like that. Mind you, how many patents does Ivanka have?
From China?
From China?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's almost like, dude, like, honestly, be quiet. Like, I don't really care about whatever, Hunter made off of China. The government is corrupt anyway. So it's not like, it's something that was really on my mind. What's on my mind right now is this virus. What's on my mind is losing my job from the DOE. That's on my mind.
Well, the potential, because you didn't. So
right, I'm just saying.
Just clarify.
But that's on my mind. You know what I mean?
Like,
okay, so a possibility. What else is on my mind? Obviously, no money, no house. Right, our plans are pretty much out the window. So these are the things that are on my mind. My safety, nowadays in the streets, that's on my mind. These are things that are on my mind. Not whether Hunter, got $3 million or whatever. Not even Ivanka Trump with those, with her patents, or her working for, for us, for the government, basically, and with no experience whatsoever, and supposedly having been paid to her while doing this.
Well, that was for 2019, I think.
Right?
Or 2018. That she was like a paid consultant.
Right.
She as part of his tax return.
Which is against the law. But again, these are not things that are on my mind. What's on my mind is the reality of our lives right now. That's on my mind. And these debates were just like, from that standpoint, yeah, Biden pretty much, pulled out all the stops as much as he could, said what he had to, and then that was pretty much it. Trump couldn't handle it, screaming. Now, how many arguments do we get into with people like that? How many arguments have we gotten into where the person didn't want to listen, they didn't care, they didn't want to accept their faults?
Oh, you mean like our children?
Like in general. I mean, yeah, obviously
that's the one that reminds me the most.
Or even you and I as well. We've gotten into arguments.
because I usually stop arguing. If it gets heated like that, I'll just stop arguing, because it's like it then turns into us just yelling at each other. So what's the point? Nobody hears each other. So I guess that's a little segue into my next thing, which is if a person's a good listener versus the other person. So like, for instance, we just brought up, I take my cue off of if our argument or disagreement gets a little too heated, then it's like nobody's going to listen anymore. So then why continue to argue? And it seems like a lot of people are not good listeners. They might hear, but they don't listen. And I think that it's very apparent when it comes to like that debate thing, because if you notice, there was particular points that were being brought up, but then were not being addressed. And then they were being sidestepped to something else. So it's kind of funny because, these are supposed to be leaders, and leaders are supposed to be good listeners. That's one of the, requirements of a good leader is to be a good listener. So I just wonder, like, it's exhausting, to be honest with you. Now that I think about it more, it's like exhausting. And I think I told you this that night, that whole debate, it was just exhausting. When you have
someone who is wrong, they're not going to admit it. They're going to basically, kind of dance around it. They'll bring up other things that have nothing to do with what the hell, you're arguing about, because they know that they're wrong and they have no way of going around it. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to, dance around things. They're gonna, mention stuff to throw you off, so that way you don't continue down that path. And that's exactly what was happening. That was exactly what was happening with Trump and Biden. Trump couldn't handle it, and he would bring up other things that were not addressed, or being addressed by counters by Biden. And the main things are what? What's the main things that were the argument for Biden? That is the virus.
Yeah, he was really focused on the virus, which is good because it's still, to be honest, it's still valid and it's still current.
The economy, right? The unemployment rate, right?
Obviously medical. Medical insurance,
health insurance and stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, again, that's how it is, man. When you argue with people, the reality is just know when to just cut it. I mean, that's pretty much it. Take accountability for your actions. I think that's the biggest thing for me right now. Taking accountability for your actions. And I don't think that this government, I would say government, but administration as a whole, they can't do that. And that's one of my biggest issues. So now you move on to Harris and Pence, right?
Well, that was a totally different tone.
So much better. It was so much better. It was easier to watch, but at the same time, not easier to digest still because of the lies, right? I mean, Pence did a good job. He did a better job than Trump did, I tell you that much. He's a smart man. He's eloquent enough, way more eloquent than Trump. And he did point out certain things about Kamala that kind of hurt them, kind of hurt her in the process. And that was a good thing. At least he was able to do that, although he was full of shit. I mean, that's how I felt. Like, he was just, it's all right. Like, I get it. In politics, you're always going to go back and forth, and you're probably going to lie a little bit because you want those votes. It's understandable. But at the same time, I think it's, again, it was just so hard to deal with because for me, I see everything. Like, I've watched so much news and go on YouTube and find, or I guess research all these things that I need to know. And I hate it when I have people who always, and this is funny because I have a friend of mine who, it's the weirdest thing, man. We have spoken so much.
You bonded more over politics than anything else.
We've spoken so much about, during the last month or so because of politics. It wasn't anything else. It's literally because of politics. And normally, politics is what tears people apart, right? You don't want to talk about politics like you don't want to talk about religion. So it's very funny. So long story short, we would talk about politics. He would send me these messages or posts from someone else who gave it to him. And that person was pretty much arguing for Trump. So this person is a
supporter of Trump.
This person is not a supporter of Republicans, I don't think. I think this person is a supporter of Trump. So you would say a Trump lover, right? No problem.
Or Trumper.
You like Trump, you love Trump, no problem. I have no issues with that, man. I do have an issue with a lot of foolish stuff. Foolish things that are being sent. Like things that absolutely make no sense to me whatsoever. And a lot of it was about how Obama didn't do this. Obama didn't do anything for our country. Our economy went to shit with Obama. All this other crap. And I'm thinking to myself, do you even bother to research anything? It makes no sense to me. The unemployment rate was horrible. There were hundreds of millions of people who were unemployed during Obama's terms. It was just horrible. So I'm thinking to myself, where do people get their information? No, I don't mind a good debate.
Hence why your nickname is the Great Debater.
Not really, but
yes, it is. To me, it is.
I don't mind. I don't mind a really good debate when you have your facts. You know what I mean? Like when you have things out there, It's gonna help you with your story. I need more water. I'll be back.
Oh, you could. I got mine. Oh no. Then again, are you?
You're gonna have to fill in for me for
Well,
1
you
minute.
should have played a video to the.
I'm
for
sorry.
this.
I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Go to the first video.
Go to the first. No, I can't. So what was it? All right. So all right. Look at it this way. Wait. So here we have, again, this is not scripted. We don't have anything. It's just like spur of the moment, like whatever we're discussing, I'm going to play whatever that is. But for those of you who know Lindsey Graham, mind you, my throat is getting drier as I speak. For those of you who know Lindsey Graham,
I'll get you the water.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes,
You're so awesome.
You know.
So for those of you who know Lindsey Graham, he is senator of South Carolina? South Carolina. The biggest hypocrite that's out in the open, rather. I mean, again, so many people. This is politics. Everyone is a hypocrite, because they want what they want. But it's just funny how, based on this, based on this justice situation where they're going to, or the Republicans
Supreme Court justice.
The Republicans are complaining about how, are questioning whether or not Biden and Harris are going to stack the seats, right?
Yeah.
So they're complaining, and they keep pushing that. They keep pushing it so much, right? Wondering why do they keep worrying about that? They already screwed up before. Before
they're trying to divert the attention away from themselves because a lot of them are hypocrites who said that they wouldn't ever want to appoint a new justice during an election year. But somehow, miraculously, when given the opportunity, they completely did a 360.
Oh, yeah.
And, some of them forgot that they said this. Others said, use my words against me. And then just, I don't know.
What, like Lindsey Graham?
Yep. And
Here we go.
Since you were talking about
We're going to play that.
Okay. I don't hear it.
Neither do I. Yeah. So, get rid of Trump. He's a bigot. He's everything in a book. Mind you, that was the time when he was running for presidency, right?
That was in 2015 or whatever.
So he was running, and of course Trump is his competition. So of course you're going to say that. But now look at him. Now he's rushing. He's rushing to have them. I forgot her name.
Oh, nope, I don't remember.
The new justice, the one that they're trying to bring in.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, I forgot her name too.
I knew it, but I
so
forgot
bad.
it.
You're gonna have to research that.
Something.
Call
me something.
You have time. So yeah. So now he's rushing.
Thank you. There goes my assistant duties again.
He's rushing to have it. He's rushing to have it set. Oh, no volume. It sucked.
I think maybe in the beginning of it there was no volume because I told you that.
So yeah. So now he's rushing, and he doesn't want to have a debate with Harrison, right? The guy who's running for his Senate seat. He doesn't want to run against Harrison, this guy, because he'd rather go to this, I guess, voting to get the new justice in for Trump. So he doesn't want to debate this Harrison guy, but he'd rather go to his boy and get the conservative justice in. That's what he wants.
Oh, he is so scared of Harrison taking his seat.
Of course he is.
Ridiculous.
Of course he is. Of course he is. So yeah, you play these.
Barrett.
Oh, that's her name. Okay.
Amy Coney Barrett.
So yeah, you play these games, man. It's all again. It's all politics. I mean, I'm gonna go through some of the things that that we've had to hear the hypocrisy, all the BS and stuff. And then I'm going to go to what really matters. What really matters to me. So, what's the other one? Oh, this one. This one takes the cake. This one. This is Nikki Haley.
Oh, no.
You laugh. I laugh with you.
I can't with this.
You laugh,
this
I
quote.
laugh with you.
This quote is just beyond me. Beyond.
Yeah. This is during Trump's Republican National Convention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? So Nikki Haley, she is a former governor of South Carolina.
And then she was an ambassador under the Trump administration.
Right. So, she's a Republican. Again, I have no problems. No problems whatsoever. You are who you are. You believe what you believe. Some of the things that are important to you are not important to me. Vice versa. It's not a big deal. But during the convention, there were parts of her speech that just made me go, what? Well, you take a listen for yourself.
Into grievance and hate. My mom built a successful business. My dad taught 30 years at a historically black college. And the people of South Carolina chose me as their first minority and first female governor.
Okay, so I know why you didn't hear. We were trying to use the speaker to listen to it ourselves on our end. But yeah, it muted it because I didn't have the right audio out settings. So here you go again. Here's Nikki Haley in the beginning, the same speech or whatever, or part of that speech that she gave. And you take a listen for yourself.
In much of the Democratic Party, it's now fashionable to say that America is racist. That is a lie. America is not a racist country. This is personal for me. I am the proud daughter of Indian immigrants. They came to America and settled in a small southern town. My father wore a turban. My mother wore a sari. I was a brown girl in a black and white world.
A brown girl.
We faced discrimination and hardship, but my parents never gave in to grievance and hate. My mom built a successful business. My dad taught 30 years at a historically black college. And the people of South Carolina chose me as their first minority and first female governor.
Okay. Did anyone see anything wrong with this? I'm curious about that. Now,
can we tell what the obvious thing is?
I mean,
that we didn't even know she was Indian.
I had no idea she was Indian, of Indian descent.
I'm sorry.
I had no idea.
I know it sounds terrible, but we didn't know based on how she looks because we didn't really know who she was.
Right. And again, this is one of those classic cases of not jumping to any conclusions based on a person's appearance, right? Mm-hmm. Of course not. So I had no idea that she was of Indian descent. She's Indian. Not a problem. I don't care. Don't mind. Mind you, she states that she was a little, what was it? Brown girl?
A brown girl in a black and white world.
That to me was just hilarious. Why are we telling you this? I don't know. I just wanted to throw this in there, man. It's just,
that's my favorite quote of this whole election cycle.
It's just so crazy, man. And the fact that in the beginning she said, America is not a racist country. No. I mean,
but then she gives a racist example.
But then she says her family was, had to deal with discrimination for years. Interesting. So, yeah. I don't know why you're not fighting for equality and fighting against racism and so on and so forth. I just don't understand that. I really don't. I really don't understand that. But that was one of the things that just like made me go, man, what the hell? And it's funny because, again, if you're not part of the circle, man, if you're not part of what they want you to be, then you're screwed. Why? Take a listen from Lindsey Graham again about being a conservative to have freedom.
I care about everybody. If you're a young African American, an immigrant, you can go anywhere in this state. You just need to be conservative, not liberal.
So, if you're a young black man, a young black person, an Indian person, whatever, immigrant, you can roam around South Carolina. But as long as you are a conservative, not a liberal. Does that make any sense?
Nope.
It makes no sense to me. Oh, my throat hurts. It makes no sense to me, man.
Chug that water.
I know. So you can go out there and be free as long as you're a conservative in South Carolina. But if you're a liberal, no, you can't. Now, mind you, these are things that are coming out their mouths. It's not like it's hearsay. And I guess that's my point. It's not like it's hearsay.
Well, you know what? It's not even a misquote. You see him talking on a video. What more proof can you say? Like, there's nothing else to be said.
Yeah, just, again, I don't mind debating with people. I have no problem with that. If I'm wrong about something, just, prove me wrong. I want to know what I'm wrong about. You think I don't know what the hell this government is about? I do. It's a corrupt government. Of course it is. I think every government is corrupt because everyone wants something for themselves. And I'll direct you back to Designated Survivor.
Our favorite, I guess, drama about politics.
It shows you that, again.
Even a good man who, became the president still had a hard time with it.
Right.
Still had a hard time with it.
Because he had people in the Senate who wanted certain things for their states. And they were like, hey, if you let us, or if you agree to this, then
we'll agree to that.
Yeah, I'll agree to this, or I'll vote for whatever this thing that it is that you're trying to, push out. It's stuff like that happens. And it's just like, I know this. I know it does. And I know that the media plays a huge part in trying to make us see certain things that we normally wouldn't see, or, to try to sway us for votes. I understand that. It's crazy, but this is why I keep pushing people to go out there and freaking and do your own research. Don't fall for conspiracy theories 100%. If you see something, well, it's fine to take a look. It's fine to look deeper into it. But at the same time, don't go out there and start pushing stuff out there. Like, you have no idea. All right, so there's this profile on Instagram that I follow. And again, I follow, the conspiracy theorists. I follow the Republicans. I follow the Democrats.
You're getting way too much into this.
Like, I follow just about everybody because I want to know what is being said, right? I want a good, fair thought process for me. That's what I want. So I remember they had put something up there about I don't remember what it was. It's a Trump thing. It's a Republican, person who is a Trump lover, I guess. So they put something out there, and I made a comment based on that post that they had. It was a neutral one, but it was also one that was fair. It was like, hey, it's basically like you're pointing this out, but did you realize that this happened? My comment got deleted. You see what I mean? Like, my comment got deleted.
See, I would take that as a win. And the reason I would take that as a win is because that person had no way to, I guess, prove you wrong. So you made a good observation and pointed something out that they couldn't actually answer.
Right. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. But the problem,
but that was the cowardly way of dealing with it.
Well, yeah, because they want their people to see it, right? They want their people to see it their way.
I was
right?
gonna say they didn't want their people to see your comment.
Not mine,
That's
no,
why they
their
deleted
way.
it.
It's just their way. So I'm just like, okay, that's crazy. It's unfair, but now I know what it is. And you know what? It didn't happen one time.
It happened more than once?
It happened twice.
You didn't tell me about the second time.
I took a snapshot for
You should have posted the snapshot up on the video.
I know, I took a snapshot from it. So again, I don't want to name the profile.
Yeah, don't give them any like free publicity.
Right. So one of their things was getting pissed off about how Pelosi is doesn't really care about the country because she's holding back whatever it is, and the Democrats are holding back the package or something like that. The
stimulus package.
Right. Yeah. So my statement was most politicians are pathetic. Right. It's unfortunate. So I asked them, where can I find the full proposal on both sides? What both sides proposed in this bill. And then I said, I also saw something where there were provisions on corporate immunity. The Republicans now are giving corporations immunity from coronavirus lawsuits against them. So if you work if you work for a company and they're kind of like forcing you to work or something like that, and you get sick.
Well, not forcing you, but let's say you have to be in person. And you have to go, let's say, to the office or to the whatever, to the warehouse. And basically, they are not liable if you get sick.
Right.
So because of their health restrictions. Like if they don't have procedures and protocols in place and you get sick, then it's on you.
So
which is messed up.
The Democrats weren't having it. That was, the Republicans had put that in there, and the Democrats, there were a couple of things. I forgot the other one. They didn't want that a part of it. They didn't want that in that bill because
it's messed up.
Yeah,
then what would make a company jump through hoops to put all of these provisions in place to keep you protected and safe?
Right.
If there's no penalty against them, like that makes no sense.
So for me, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so you're putting this out there, and people are like, oh my gosh, Pelosi sucks, or the Democrats are horrible, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, like, why don't you find out what's in the bill itself, what both sides proposed, and then you can make a, logical, educated decision on what is right and what is wrong. But that's not the case. So when I have people send me stuff that just makes no sense, you're arguing with stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. You're throwing things out there, and it's just like, oh, it's so annoying. It really, truly is annoying to me. So I get it. I understand. I just don't like it when a person puts a party over a country. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. If you are the right person for the job, you get my vote. I mean, it's as simple as that. You get my vote. It doesn't matter. But, like I told my friend, every time he said me some nonsense, what really matters to most people is their pockets, their money, their home, their health, their safety. Call me crazy, but it just seems like everything that I just mentioned that are the most important things are going down the tubes.
Yep.
And it has nothing to do with Republicans or Democrats or nothing. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with decisions that are made. That's all it is. And then it trickles down to, the government, Senate, Congress, of course, the president. It trickles down. So I know what I see. I would like to have certain people on this podcast to debate me.
Oh. Are you throwing down the gauntlet?
Oh, it sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. I would like for people to come on the show and debate me. If I don't,
we don't have to mention names. They don't have to put their name out there.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind whatsoever. I want to know if there's something that I'm missing. I have no problem with that. I'm already aware of a lot of things that are going on. It's just like, the simple shit in life, man. It's staring you in the face, and you're over here arguing about, crazy stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Case in point, Pete Buttigieg, right?
Buttigieg.
Say how it looks. Buttigieg, right? Is it Judge or Jidge?
Judge.
I don't know. We're gonna have to search that.
We have to do the Google Translate.
So what happened was he was on Fox News, and Fox, they were talking about the debate that was happening before, or the Pence Harris debate. So he was talking about, they were asking him a question about that.
Wait, I'm sorry to interject.
What is it?
I just want to give a shout out to the fly that landed on Mike Pence's head and stood there for 2 minutes. Because I have to say, that had to be the most entertaining part of that whole debate. And as many memes and stuff that have been created since.
Oh, that was funny. Did you see his eye? Man, that looks scary.
Oh, man. He had the Walking Dead eye.
It looks scary.
It was bad.
But
okay, I'm sorry. Back to the subject.
So during that interview with Buttigieg, on Fox News, they asked him about a couple of things. But one of them was...
You can't give it away.
Well, no, I'm gonna show the video. But one of them was about why Harris, all of a sudden... who was against the health care, right? Was it the health care?
No. Apparently she was, I think, initially into free health care, whatever.
Right.
I guess you could say
like Bernie Sanders?
Like the Bernie Sanders program.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so they asked him, Pete, for a person who was against this and this, with Biden, all of a sudden, she is, rolling with it. She is happy to be rolling with him and on his ticket, as the vice president-elect. And it was funny because Buttigieg, this was his response.
So just going back to my original question about the things that, when you run for president, you have a record on all of these issues. And then we've seen that record and her stance on them changing over time. So there's no doubt she's going to be asked about that tonight. Can you give us some insight into what she might say to justify why she was for Medicare for all then and is not for it now, for example?
Well, there's a classic parlor game of trying to find a little bit of daylight between running mates. And if people want to play that game, we could look into why an evangelical Christian like Mike Pence wants to be on a ticket with the president caught with a porn star, or how he feels about the immigration policy.
That's a mic drop right there.
Before he decided to team up with Donald Trump. If folks want to play that game, we could do it all night. But I think what most Americans want to hear about is, are our families going to be better protected than they have been by this president who's failed to secure America in the face of one of the most dangerous things ever to happen to our country?
Talk about a mic drop. Dude is like a serious Christian, and he is Trump's...
Snuggling up with Trump.
Trump's VP. You want to talk about hypocrisy? Of course.
But you know what? It actually makes sense because he doesn't do a lot with him. If you notice, Pence is not on a lot of these whatever you want to call it, rallies or any of that stuff. If you notice, he's never there. Because I really don't think that he rolls with him that strong. I think he wanted to be the vice president, and he thought, hey, this is a good opportunity for him to try. I think that's the only reason he's there.
Either way, he was against a lot of things himself, but at the same time, you want to be a part of that White House, right? So, of course, you're going to suck it up. Of course, you're going to deal with things that you don't necessarily agree with because you want to be a part of that circle, man. That's all it is.
He sold his soul, literally.
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Again, for me, I don't really care about that stuff, though. I just threw this in there because I thought, it's funny. Because I get all these messages trying to say why the Democrats are bad people. The Democrats are horrible. The Senate, the Congress.
I'm sorry. I just thought of a joke.
What is it?
There's bad people on both sides.
Of course there are. It's not a joke. It's true. So my thing is, you're sending out all these posts trying to sway me or trying to make me believe that the Democrats, I already know there are those that are bad and there are those that are good on both sides. On both sides. It doesn't really sway me whatsoever. But I do like when someone brings 100% cold, hard facts. That's what I do like. Because right now, a lot of the messages that I see are based upon opinion and about regurgitated stuff that they've heard before.
Okay, so I have to send a quick shout out to Boris, who to laugh at some of the comments that he's making here. But one of them actually was very poignant, which is, you like that word, right? $5. The biggest hypocrisy is the tax cuts that lead to one of the biggest national debts in 3 years. But now you want to be physically conservative on a national aid to the economy.
Ooh.
That's a mic drop.
Jesus.
He just had a Buttigieg moment. And he would also like to nominate himself. He's for and against multiple categories.
Jesus. I mean, again, it's like that whole thing, right? Where Trump is always complaining or not complaining. He's always, talking about socialists, right? Doesn't like socialism, right? The socialists on the left.
Oh, my God. That is the word that I've never heard more in the last 3 years than in my whole life.
Mind you, he complains about the socialist left, he says, all the time. So many Republicans are saying the same goddamn thing. But you're okay to get handouts from the government, right? You're okay to get that government handout that has no problem with you when you're getting free stuff, you got no issues. Yep. But you're complaining about socialism. Interesting.
Well, again, the biggest complainers of the so-called socialist policies are the same states representatives that, like you said, take the most from the pot.
And isn't Lindsey Graham one of them?
Yep.
He doesn't give. His state does not give as much, but yet they've taken the most.
No,
or top 3, right?
They're within the top 5.
Top 5, okay.
Yeah.
Of taking the most, of getting the most from the government.
Yep.
Ha! It makes no sense to me.
Yep.
It's horseshit. It's just BS. And a lot of this stuff is. I just want to point out a couple of things, and I'm gonna try to make I'm gonna make this short because
we don't want to go over time.
Right now, it's all about statistics, man. It's no more just. Because I'm really tired. I'm really tired of having to get stupid, pointless posts or opinionated stuff.
Yeah, but I think that just my little observation.
Okay.
I actually think that you like to debunk these posts.
Well,
I feel like you feel like a new purpose out of this.
I prefer to have truth, because again, we're making important decisions in our lives. I want to be told the truth. I don't want to be lied to. And I understand a lot of them are liars. I get it. So I got to read between the lines or read between the lies, I guess. You know what I mean? So for me, I look to get facts. Now, if I were like those who send foolish stuff that they find from one-sided media sources, then I would be just like them. I would literally be just like them. I'd be complaining about how, oh yeah, that is true. Obama, the unemployment rate for, during Obama's terms were just horrible. You know what I mean? I would be that person. But I'm glad because this is what I found. Again, this is important. So right here, you'll see the United States, the map of the U.S., right?
Including Puerto Rico. Shout out.
Oh, yeah, including Puerto Rico. So you have this map, and it shows you the percentage of unemployment, right? People unemployed, the state's unemployment. And the darker it is, the more that's unemployed. Now, it starts off September 2010. So it's actually missing a year because it was, I tried to get, it only shows 10 years. But 2009 is when Obama started, right?
2008.
2008? Or was it? You sure?
Well, he was elected in 2008, but his term started January 2009.
So yeah, so we're already missing out a year and some change. That's pretty much it. Oh, I moved this. So here we have the map, and again, the darker the color, the more unemployed. Now this is going for 10 years. You're gonna see it's gonna change over time. Over time now. And just remember.
Well, keep a close eye on the key of the colors, what the colors mean.
Right.
So basically the darkest colors are the most unemployment rate. And then when it goes lighter, it means there's less unemployment.
Right. And mind you, this is a man, Obama, who took over a country that was already in a recession. Already in a recession. He took over already in a recession. So here you go. I'll just go over it with you. Look at that. Wow, would you look at that? It's starting to change. It's starting to get better. This is March. This is 2012. Now we're heading into 2013. Look how light it's getting. Now we're heading into 2014. Wow. This is unemployment rate now. It's going low. Now we're into 2015.
No, it's Puerto Rico don't change much, right?
Yeah. Now it's 2015. Now it's 2016. Look at this. So in December of 2016, during the last year of his presidency, Obama, look how the U.S. was. Mind you, this is how it was a year and some change when he took over a country that was already in a recession. Is this from a Democratic media source? Is it bogus?
It is not.
No, it's from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's on their website, for crying out loud. You can see this easily. Let's go back. January of 2018 now. So now we're going to go, give or take a couple of months into Trump's, term now. Mm-hmm. It's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good for the for unemployment. So all those people who are complaining about, again, who shared their, Obama was horrible. He's the worst president. Our unemployment rate was the worst ever. Blah, blah, blah. Well, this is living proof. This is proof that it wasn't. It wasn't. Where do you get your source, your information from? Like, who are your sources? So now we're going to continue. We're going to go on. And this is January of 2020, March. Look at that. May.
Oh, man.
This was the
day in May.
But
then again, bright side, Puerto Rico actually got better.
It did get better.
I don't know why.
I don't know how either. That makes no. I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
The whole country goes to shit, but Puerto Rico starts doing better.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. So yeah, this is May. That is May. Is that crazy or what?
I want to know what that state in the middle is. That's the light blue.
That's Nebraska.
What the hell's going on there? What are they doing so well?
Yeah, it's crazy. So okay, so there goes your, your debunked post about how Obama was horrible because the unemployment rate was horrible. No, the unemployment rate was continuing to drop when Trump got it. It's as simple as that. The economy was continuing to rise when Trump came in.
He just had to maintain.
He just had to maintain, right? Unfortunately, the virus hit, right? But everything went down. He wanted the economy to continue thriving, but he didn't care about the people who were living in the U.S. to help him make that economy continue to rise, right? He didn't know about it.
And so what was President Xi saying yesterday?
Well, we were talking mostly about the virus, and I think he's going to have it in good shape, but, it's a very tricky situation.
Indeed
it goes through air, Bob. That's always tougher than the touch. The touch, you don't have to touch things, right? But the air, you just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. You know, people don't realize we lose 25,000, 30,000
So
people a
more
year.
deadly.
Who would ever think that, right?
Than
I
your
know.
strenuous flu. More deadly. Mind you, he was acting like, oh, it's a flu. It's no problem. It's easy. Right? Okay. Complained about, again, he was complaining about how Obama didn't leave anything in the stock. What was it?
The stockpile.
The stockpile. Complained about that.
But that was a lie, too.
Yeah, it was a lie. Again, Obama had a pandemic task force in place because of what he had to deal with during his 2 terms. 3 pandemics during his 2 terms. And
remember, I think it was scientists had predicted that there was going to be another major virus coming.
Right.
Because I guess every 100 years, there's a major virus.
Mind you, 3 pandemics and a recession. 3 pandemics.
He's the worst president, right?
3 pandemics and a recession. How many of you guys who are listening to this, who, I don't know how many, 5 or 4, whatever. How many of you guys are listening to this were afraid during 2009 to 2016 or 17? How many of you were afraid of your employment, your health, anything? I know I wasn't.
Nope. I was only, again, in the beginning of the recession, I was only nervous to lose my job.
Right,
That's about it.
at the beginning. But then things started to pick
when
up.
things started to increase, and then he gave us like a little stimulus check, because I still do remember that.
Right.
I thought that he was actually, things were moving forward in a positive direction.
On a side note, I saw your question, Boris. You should have a graph on crimes. I think I did for the last one. I'm not too sure if I did, but the reality is that was one of the things that was pointed out, was that Trump, the crime rate for Trump had decreased, right? It was at its all-time low, and I had to go and check to verify whether or not that was true, because of course that's what I do, and it wasn't true. I mean, no, that was true. Violent crimes went down. Violent crimes had gone down, but
excluding
blood. But the person did not include all the other crimes. Rape went up.
I still don't see how that's not considered a violent crime.
It should be, right? Again,
just saying. Rape
went up. Car thefts went up. I forgot what else went up. I have to double check. But yeah, it's like you point out how violent crimes went down, but you don't really add all the other stuff. I don't think that's right.
If you exclude rape, I'm sorry, that's a major one to exclude.
Right, especially if it's violent, of course, like violent. I mean, you and I have spoken about this before: date rape and all the other stuff. What's considered rape, so on. You never know. But for me, again, it was one of those things where it's just like, okay, I'm not just going to take that for whatever you're saying. So here you are. You go out there with all this information, or rather lack of information. You go out there and post, violent crimes in the U.S. has gone down under Trump, but yet you don't mention all the other stuff. That's foolish. It makes no sense to me. So, again, these are things that we heard from Trump himself. It's not like it was something different. It's not like it was something new. And the other thing, too, was what did Obama do for our country? Trump has done so much for our country. What did Obama do? Well,
took us out of a recession. That's what he did. Took us out of the
recession. Was lucky enough to not deal with 3 pandemics and hurt the economy at the same time. What else? What else is there?
Didn't he take out Osama bin Laden?
Oh yeah, he did. What else was there? The VA choice. The VA choice as well. Oh,
that's your next topic, isn't
the
it?
Affordable Care Act, right?
Yep.
And it's funny how, Trump is pretty much taking claim for this. Like it was his choice. Like he was the one who did it.
His accomplishment.
Yeah, you could check it out for yourself. And this is a side comparison between, what Trump is saying that he did and what Obama actually did. You be the judge.
He either hasn't heard or is lying to you, and he has done so more than 150 times. Here's President Trump announcing his role in passing Veterans' Choice and accountability. And here's the president who actually signed it into law 6 years ago.
They've been trying to get that passed for decades and decades and decades, and no president's ever been able to do it, and we got it done, so veterans have choice, and now you have accountability.
In a few minutes, we'll take another step forward. When I signed into law the VA reform bill that was passed overwhelmingly with bipartisan majorities, and that doesn't happen often, in Congress.
We passed choice, as you know, veterans' choice.
For veterans who can't get timely care through the VA. This bill will help them get the care they need someplace else.
And now you have accountability that if you don't love your vets, if you're in the VA and you don't love the vets or take care of the vets, you can actually get fired.
Finally, we're giving the VA secretary more authority to hold people accountable. We've got to give Bob the authority so that he can move quickly to remove senior executives who fail to meet the standards of conduct and competence that the American people demand.
The Veterans Access to Care Through Choice Accountability and Transparency Act of 2014 was signed on August 7th of that year, 6 years ago.
6 years ago, and you see it, well, you hear it for yourself. Trump is actually trying to make it seem as if he was the one who did that. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I mean. If you're going to debate someone, if you're going to put out all these posts and memes and you want to sway people to believe that the Democrats are bad and Trump is the best thing since apple pie, again with the apple pie.
Oh, McDonald's.
Then something is wrong with you. Like, it truly makes no sense. Now, I'm covering things that are important to me. My health, he screwed up with the virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
The economy, I felt it in my tax return. 1 year I go and get a good chunk of change back in my taxes, and then after he signs this new bill or whatever,
the tax break for the rich, you mean?
Then I'm over here owing $700 some change, and I don't even get that much. So it's like, really, are you really helping me out? And mind you, you got more.
Yep, it was the opposite for me.
So here we are, two different
tax brackets.
Yeah, two different tax brackets, and I'm the one that's owing the money, and I get twice as less as you do, and then you're over here getting a good chunk of change back.
Baller.
So again, this is living proof. It's not like it's hearsay or I'm like seeing other posts and believing it.
We literally have an example within our same household.
Right. So it's like it's crazy. Don't even talk about the pre-existing conditions. I mean, this is funny.
So over the next 2 weeks, I'll be pursuing a major executive order requiring health insurance companies to cover all pre-existing conditions for all customers. That's a big...
Love the freaking bear.
Oh, my gosh.
The bear is hilarious.
Covering pre-existing conditions. Dude, we already had that. We had that with Obamacare. We had that with Obamacare. Mind you, I don't need that right now because I my job. So I don't need that. I don't need to worry about that right now. But at the same time, we already have that.
Well, people already have that.
Yeah, that's the U.S. We already have that. It's Obamacare. But yet here he is making it seem as if he's the one that's, going out there and doing these things for the people. It's just like, dude, are you serious? Like, come on now. It makes no sense to me. Now, again, this is going based on the person or persons who show me posts and all these other things that mean nothing to me. Like, there was one where the person had said, well, he did a lot for the black community. He he signed an executive order to give historical black colleges money, right? I don't know how much it was over a certain amount of time, but I mean, not to be an asshole, but does that really do anything for me?
Nope.
No, it doesn't do anything for me. It's a good thing, is what I'm saying. It's a good thing, but it doesn't really do anything for me. So just because he did that doesn't mean that I'm going to go vote for the guy. Doesn't mean that at all.
Nope.
It's a good thing that he did it. But again, everyone, the 300 plus million people in the U.S., we all have different needs, right?
Exactly.
We all have different needs. But the main needs are health, our money, our home, and our safety. Call me crazy, but all four of these have gone to shit. Does that sound like a damn good leader to you? But to those who feel like, Trump is the Messiah, who point out everything else, and that's what they will continue to do, point out every other thing, but not stick to the facts. Not stick to the facts. Because they already know. He screwed the pooch, man.
I love when you say that. I know it's so bad, but I love it.
So here's a little brief, video info about the new tax law that hurt me in the process. But this is kind of important.
We want to give you, the American people, a giant tax cut for Christmas.
Christmas, a time for giving. And American companies are set to get a rather large present this year. The tax that they pay government is set to be reduced from 35% to 21%. Big savings. And the administration is hoping that that in turn will mean presents for everyone. That the money saved by these big companies will be reinvested here, and that'll create more jobs. Of course, there are questions about whether that will really happen.
We think $4 trillion will come flowing back into the country. That's money that's overseas, that's stuck there for years and years.
Now, when it comes to tax rates for people, well, you'd have to feel around the stocking a bit to see if there are presents for you. There's definitely a gift for the most wealthy, people who pay the top tax rate, because that's been brought down by more than 2%. And analysis shows the lowest income bracket will benefit the least.
The lowest
But
income
whatever
bracket
giveaways are there in the personal
benefit
tax
the
rate,
least.
well, they're temporary.
I'm a part of
They
that.
expire in 2025. The Republican plan also takes away existing goodies. The amount by which your state or local tax bill can reduce your federal income tax has been tightly restricted. And that means some people living in states with higher taxes and property prices will end up paying more. Funnily enough, these tend to be states that vote Democrat, so not much holiday cheer there.
This is going to be one of the great Christmas gifts to middle-income people.
But the passage of this new tax reform should mean a very Merry Christmas for President Trump, his first major legislative victory since taking office.
It's laid upon the table.
But all of these presents, well, they're going to cost money, a lot of it. $1.4 trillion, according to the Congress's own Joint Committee on Taxation. So the worry is that once all the festivities are over, will the American economy be left facing a harsh, cold winter?
Yeah, we're screwed, man. So yeah, I am part of, the lower bracket. So I am not going to benefit from his tax law, which sucks. His tax bill. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks for me.
I would have been good if they would have left on. I would have been good if they would have left the personal deductions on, plus the tax break.
Right. So those who
Ballin'.
own houses and stuff, oh, you're screwed. Now you can't even deduct that.
The property tax.
Yeah, you can't even deduct that anymore. So you know how much money you are actually losing because of that reason? So if you own a house, especially in New York, New Jersey, California, you own a house, man, you're screwed. So
and what's messed up is those are the states with some of the highest property taxes.
Exactly. So we are pretty much helping out a lot of these other states.
Yep.
Our money,
because we put more money in the pot.
Yeah, we put more money in the pot, and they don't, and yet they're the ones taking more money out from it, and we're getting screwed in the process. How's that fair? So again, I could care less whether Nikki Haley does not use her real name, which is what was her name? Nikki Haley,
Nikki Strom or something.
Nikki Camarada, something like that.
Yeah.
I could care less. I mean, again, she's not even using her real name, so there goes that one. I can care less about that. I can care less about Lindsey Graham saying the next president should choose the justice seat
until it's during their turn.
Yeah, now
in their favor, and then all of a sudden
it changes. I can care less for the most part. Not to say that I don't care, but I can care less.
I was gonna say bring up the point that you brought to me about that.
Which was what?
About who should care about that.
Well, woman, right? Woman should care about that because once this woman, I forgot her name.
Amy Barrett.
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 All right. Once she is, the new justice
If she is, hopefully she's not.
Most likely she would be. That's how many conservative seats?
Well, I would think that it tips it over to 6 to 3.
5 or 6 or something like that?
Because I think it was already 5 and 4.
Right. So
but now I think it'll be 6 and 3.
So now that she, if most likely she would be, she's against, again, everyone has their own feelings. She's against abortion. But, the reality is, I did research on that, and I wish I would have shown it. There are a hell of a lot of children who are in the foster care system. Mm-hmm. And funny enough, how many of these children are white? More than half. The white kids are actually the most in foster care systems, in the foster system. The white kids are the most.
Oh, I would think that, just based off of our own backgrounds, I would think minorities try to kind of, keep kids in the family, to the aunts or the uncles or to the grandparents or something.
But the point is that you have a lot of children out there in the foster care system who don't have families. Obviously, they're there. They're looking to have families take them in, and you're over here complaining about abortion.
Exactly.
Like, really? Like, why don't those?
And the state don't even pay for it. Like, I don't understand this. People who do it have to pay for it themselves. So it doesn't cost the government anything. I just don't understand.
I think it does until you adopt them, right? Until you adopt them?
No, I'm talking about abortion.
Oh, abortion. Okay.
You have to pay it out of pocket.
I think there's some.
No, there's no government program that gives you that.
So we have to make sure that we research that, to give an accurate answer. But either way, again, you have a lot of kids out there who need homes, and you're over here saying no to abortion. Like, I understand.
Or you're gonna have, and I hope this is not the case, but you're gonna have a lot more of the kids who are being dumped into garbage or whatever, because they don't want to put the kid up for adoption either, because they don't want it to become, come back to them that they did this.
Yeah.
So then they discard them, and what's worse? I don't understand it.
It's horrible. It's really horrible. And again, this is what's going to happen if she is, it just seemed like that's what would happen. And again, if you didn't see it, if, people like Lindsey Graham, if you are a black person or immigrant and you are a conservative, you are free to roam South Carolina. But if you are not, if you are a liberal, they got issues. Should I play it again? Okay, no problem.
I care about everybody. If you're a young African American, an immigrant, you can go anywhere in this state. You just need to be conservative, not liberal.
You just need to be conservative, not liberal. Like, he's literally saying this.
I would like to be honest with you, I would like to see the full clip on that after the show.
I would too.
Because I don't know if it's being taken out of context, in all fairness.
Right.
Not that I'm defending him.
Sure.
But I would like to know the context of the rest of that.
Well, that's good. You should. You should.
Thank you.
And if we need to retract our statement, so be it. No problem with that whatsoever. But again, this is what would happen if you have Barrett in the seat. Too many conservatives want it to be, like they. I don't. To be honest with you,
I don't understand the philosophy of the GOP or of the Republicans or conservatives, for that matter. They say they don't want government to control, like big government. They don't want them to control everything. But then they want to tell a woman that she can't have an abortion. You want everyone to, I guess, govern their own states. But then you want federal help. Right. When you don't have enough funds. It just doesn't make, it's a lot of
it's
I don't
bullshit,
know.
Right?
It's just so confusing.
Bullshit. Yeah, it's just horrible.
Confusing to me.
Like it should be like, listen, if you can't put in the pot, man, then I'm not giving you anything. You're gonna have to, find a way to take care of business yourself, man.
Well, remember what we were talking about off podcast was that, I think that part of the issue is that the cost of living is cheaper in a lot of those southern states or Midwest states. So therefore the minimum wage is less. So if people were paid a fair wage to live on, then you wouldn't have as much people on social programs. You wouldn't need as much tax bailouts as from the,
Right.
as a state, because your people would be working at a good rate. But again, what do I know?
Well, this is something that I don't mind having conversations with people who can actually, fill me in, add more detail, give me more information. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'd rather be wrong and not put out garbage than, I don't know. I don't have anything else after that. Because I mean, for me, I'm my mind.
But
is
if somebody's
going to
come to you with something, it has to be with some kind of facts
right
behind
It
it,
has to.
not just their own opinions about stuff.
Like for me, my fact is, again, like I told you, I feel unsafe. I don't know about my job. I don't know about the health. Right, it's scary, of course. I literally had to go and check myself to see if I have the virus. So and you're stuck with me, so you're screwed.
I'm real ride or die.
Right, I'm literally not feeling too good right now.
Yeah, I know. We're about to cut this.
And what else is there? Safety. Like, these are all things that are important, and I see them going down the tube based on the decisions that have been made by our president. That's not a lie. That is not a lie. For anything else, he admitted to knowing about the virus.
It's not exaggeration either.
His own cabinet member sent him 2 memos to say, "Hey, look, this is the problem. You really need to prepare for this." It just so happens that he spoke to Bob Woodward about this, saying, "I knew that it was bad. It was worse than a regular flu." But yet he's still going out there holding all these rallies and making it seem as if everything is okay. Like, these are his decisions. These are what he's telling people. Mind you, people are talking about not having their freedom. Oh, I don't want to lose my freedom. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me to put a mask on. It's my freedom. Well, fuckface. Don't go out there in the car. Don't go into your car and wear a seatbelt. Speed. Go super fast. Not wearing your seatbelt and see what happens to you. Mm-hmm. Mind you, it's the law to buckle up, right? So the government forced you to wear a seatbelt in your car. Your car. But yet you can't wear a mask. You don't wear a seatbelt, you die. You don't wear a mask, you kill other people. What's the difference? Major difference. It's just
stupid.
It's stupid stuff like that. It's like legit stuff, and yet I get all these stupid little posts about stuff that means nothing to me. Like, the reality is, you can always have a comeback with someone against that in regards to politics, Democrats, Republicans. You can always have a comeback, but the reality is, over 200,000 people cannot come back. Over 200,000 people cannot come back. Why? Because they're dead.
And they're estimating it could be another 20,000 within these last few months of the year.
Of course. Why? Because all of a sudden, right? Mr. President is over here talking about, I'm a wartime president. I'm in the front lines for you guys, and I'll do it again for you if I have to. No, man.
Oh, too bad you didn't play that BS Fox clip of them saying how he was he lived it. He lived the COVID. So now, like, I guess he's more of an authority to talk about it.
It's
like,
foolish.
really? Seriously?
It's foolish. I mean, I don't really like going back and forth with people who are just going to, send stupid little posts about things that really make no sense. It makes no difference. The reality is, politicians lie. They want stuff for their own state, their own city, their own counties. Politicians lie. They do what they have to do to get what they want.
For their state.
For their state. These bills, this stimulus bill, both Republicans and Democrats are putting things that they want for them, right? And call me crazy, but Republicans putting in, into that bill where corporations cannot be sued, if someone gets the, virus or something like that, that's kind of shitty. That means that just goes to show that they don't really care about you. They care about the corporations.
Yep.
Why? Because that corporation is going to make money. They need the money, right? We need the money to make this world go round. That's basically it. So if our economy goes to shit, who is it going to be under? It's going to be under Trump. And how did Trump get into office, he made you afraid, and he made you believe that he's a great businessman.
Both lies.
So there goes that one. And for me, I am losing energy right now as we speak.
I know it's time. It's time to sign off.
My nose is hurting. My throat is hurting. I don't have as much energy. Oh my gosh! I'm waiting for this COVID test result. Hopefully I'm okay. But that's pretty much it, man. I got nothing else. We just went on too much. This is the longest one that we've done so far, actually.
Yeah.
This is.
And it feels up to you. You go out another 20, 30 minutes if it wasn't for your sore throat.
Probably. And I'm hot. I think I need to take my temperature.
I know.
Either
it's
way,
hot in here.
That's our time, man. I'm glad that you guys stuck around. I mean, of course, this is going to go up on YouTube. So if you missed part of it, you can easily go on YouTube on our channel and play.
Subscribe.
Play whatever you missed. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe below. Visit us on our Instagram profile. Our
at GoodTalks_NYC.
Yep. I'm tired, man.
Thank you.
Don't forget to visit our website, www.goodtalksnyc.com. I need to update it. Don't forget to tell your friends. Let them know. If you're a Republican, actually, I don't really care. If you're a Trump lover, come and talk to me. I have no problem. I have no issue. Send me a message saying I want to be, on your show. I want to do or whatever. I want to talk. I have no issues with it. And that's pretty much it. So we appreciate your time listening.
Thanks for everyone on the live chat. You guys are very good and entertaining, and you have a lot to say, and we appreciate and listen to it.
Yeah, next week it's going to be a little lighter. We're going to go over that show that I say we should do about dating with autism, because we need to do that show better justice, man.
Mm-hmm.
From what we did. So yeah, next week's show is going to be about dating with autism and everything in between. So that's pretty much it. So much love. Good night. Good Talks is out.
Bye.